Hello and welcome to the Red Feather Genealogy channel. You may have seen the Ancestry ad on TV where the guy thinks he's German and then he takes a DNA test and it turns out he's Scottish. That's not really how it works. I'm going to show you what kind of results you can expect from different companies as to the accuracy of your particular ethnicities. To get the usual question for American audiences out of the way as to whether or not you are Cherokee. I did a video on this specifically recently, and spoiler alert, nope. Alright, so here's my ethnic breakdown. This is a very genetically verified tree, so I know who my ancestors definitely are, and as you can see, I am overwhelmingly English. And here's England. I got an audience all over the world. Maybe some people don't know where England is. This is England. So the first test I'm going to go over is Living DNA. This, by the way, is my favorite testing company, and there just so happens to be a link below the video so you can check them out. Here's what I got from Living DNA. It was kind of shockingly accurate, actually. As you can see here, it breaks down to not just Britain, but specific English counties. I never thought somebody would even attempt something like this, but they have, and for me it was quite accurate. This is a map that I made. It's pretty low quality because I had to blow stuff up and do a lot of pinpointing, and I didn't really expect it to be in a video, but you get the idea. I've got lots and lots and lots of English, most of it from southeast England, as you can see here, and lining it up against the specific county by county breakdown from Living DNA, it is pretty spectacular. I absolutely love it. But in fairness, if you go outside of England, the results begin to get not quite as accurate. So for example, here's somebody from Denmark who tested and they posted their results, and it's kind of a hodgepodge all over the place. I've seen this before in other testing companies where Denmark is a perfect example of a crossroads between east and west and not really south, but definitely north, and it shows up all over the map. But here's the thing with Living DNA. One of the reasons why I really love this company is they're looking to expand not just country by country as these companies slowly do, but county by county of these countries as they did in England. As you can see here, they're doing this in Ireland and they're doing this in Germany. The German one is especially fascinating to me because if you can see the sort of fine print there, they're actually doing not just modern Germany, but the regions to the east that were lost during the World Wars. So that's really, really covering the bases. So that's Living DNA, my favorite testing company. If you have specifically British ancestry, I would extremely highly recommend them, and I would just highly recommend them to everybody else. Next up, we've got 23andMe. Most people have heard of this company by now, and these are my results from there. It's pretty good, but a lot of people get very frustrated by the broadly Northwest European results, as I got, a very large chunk of it. The thing is, it's still actually accurate. It's a bit monumental, frankly, to break things down to just one small country in this small part of the world, and so keeping it broad actually does make it accurate. The main reason for this, apart from the close proximity of all these countries to each other, is the population movements between them. In my case, in particular, you've got the Anglo-Saxon invasions from 1500 years ago. You can see basically a lot of North Germany and Denmark moving over into England, and then a few centuries after that, you've got all of the Viking migrations also. So this makes for just a real hodgepodge of activity back and forth across the North Sea, and so to lump the whole region in under just general Northwest European, because most tests can't tell England from Denmark, from Norway, from Germany, is actually accurate. It's just not quite the result that a lot of us were really hoping for. Moving on to Ancestry DNA, you see a very, very similar situation again. You've got a lot of overlapping. In fact, as English as I am, it's actually saying that I'm more continental than English. What this is essentially breaking it down to is I'm very Germanic English from the corner of Britain because of those invasions, whereas a lot of the rest of the Isles are Celtic. So it's bringing up the Germanic pull toward the continent for me, whereas other people with an English background might get more Great Britain, and so on. Kind of the point being that I wanted to simplify this graphic to show that my overwhelming ethnicity is right in the middle of all this overlapping. So, again, it's still accurate. I might also mention that they're rolling out upgrades. They're doing a lot more population samples, and they're improving stuff. And I've seen a few of the previews for people. When I asked them how long this is going to take for everybody, they seemed a little bit non-committal, so it might take a while. But the gist of it being that most of these companies are continually improving. Also, there's FTDNA. Their results are so horrible that they're not even worth showing, frankly. So that's the gist of it. I would say, again, that if you have very English background, Living DNA is probably the one for you. Otherwise, you might want to veer toward 23andMe or Ancestry. It's up to you, and I hope that this could help. So please do like and subscribe and all that, and I'll be making more videos soon. Thanks.